I have a tragic story to tell you. It's a story of cheating, deceit, lying, intrigue, and it involves math. Back about 300 some odd years ago, math was all the rage. Calculus was just being discovered. People were trying to solve all sorts of math problems and limit problems. Back then, mathematicians were like the rock stars of today. And one of those mathematicians was named L'Hopital. Now, L'Hopital was a Frenchman. He was a French mathematician. Now, he was pretty bright. He was pretty smart. But he wanted to make a name for himself. And unfortunately, he wasn't quite the sharpest guy to say, you know what, here's a theorem that's going to bear my name forever. And back then, like I said, all the rage was limits. And what he wanted to do was be able to solve a limit like this, where we have the limit x goes to 0 of e to the x minus 1, minus 1 over x equals 0. It will equal 0 over 0. It's our indeterminate form. What he wanted to do was he wanted to solve for all indeterminate forms. Now, we've done this earlier this year where we factored and canceled, where we graphed them, where we did conjugate method. We did some tricky algebra stuff with some sign functions. But we never could solve a problem like this one. So L'Hopital wanted to solve it, but he couldn't. So he hired a young German named Johann Bernoulli. Now, you know the Bernoulli brothers. They kind of gave it like Bernoulli's principle, like why airplanes fly. It's like there's a lot of things with air fluid and motion that they did. A lot of math that they did. They discovered what's the fastest way to get between 2 points. So the Bernoulli did all sorts of things. But when he was younger, Johann was poor. So he accepted a job from L'Hopital to solve problems like this, indeterminate forms, where we could not solve them algebraically. And Bernoulli did. Bernoulli solved it. And he gave over all of his notebooks, his paperwork, to L'Hopital, because L'Hopital paid for it. And L'Hopital took all that information and he published it under his own name, therefore giving us L'Hopital's rule. Now, we know the truth. It was all a lie. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about L'Hopital's rule. So, just remember, invented by a German, stolen from the French. Alright, so if you go to part 2 and 3, we're going to take a look, or maybe just part 2, we'll just take a look at some examples of L'Hopital's rule, and I will see you then. Bye-bye.